So we're going to start off by doing a visualization to connect to the cards. So I'm hoping everyone has got a deck of cards with you, in which case you might want to draw a card. But if you don't, that's fine. I'm going to do a group card for everyone as well if you don't have a card. And if you do have a card at home, and obviously this relates to doing this exercise in future, if you do choose to do this exercise from the recording or otherwise, doing this exercise, connecting with the archetype of the card, is actually a way for you to also learn the meaning of the card, of the archetype directly. Again, that takes you beyond needing to read about it in a book or understand it on an intellectual level. So if you've got your own deck in front of you, I invite you to choose a card either randomly, and I suggest you choose from the major arcana cards, that is the 22 numbered cards. Of course, the major arcana cards are the cards like the Fool or the Strength or the High Priestess. They've got the names. So you could choose randomly from those. If your card deck isn't separated into the different areas, then you can just sort of keep drawing until the first major arcana card comes up. That's one way of doing it. Obviously, if your card is if your deck is separated, if you've got the 22 major arcana cards separated, just draw from those limited 22 cards. And if you don't have a deck in front of you, we're going to work with the Fool card. I think the Fool card is a fitting card because he represents the soul outside of the creation, the sort of trusting soul that is about to embark on this worldly journey, just as we're about to embark on this journey through the tarot. So how to start this process is to have your card and hold your card just a little bit above your third eye and look up at it. So you're going to be looking up at the card, and if you don't have your card in front of you, you can just look at the card that I'm holding up here and just spend some time now softening the focus. Look at that card and just see it for its colors to start off with. Maybe certain colors stand out for you. And maybe a certain symbol stands out for you. Just scan your eyes over the images of the card. See the different symbols. Maybe one of them draw you. Maybe one of them repel you. It all tells a story. And just looking a little bit longer, meditating a little bit longer on that card. Now, you can just close your eyes and put your card down. And we're just going to do 20 breaths just to connect, just to enter a deeper space. Deep breath first. And then 5 more. Just keep your eyes closed now as you just feel your body, feel comfortable in your body, connect to your body. Just allow your body to come to rest, to go beyond any resistances, and now become aware of your emotions, the emotions of the last 24 hours, aware of the emotions of the last week. Just let those emotions speak to you, give you an idea what's happening inwardly, what's happening in your life. And now just let go of those emotions, just be present in the now, beyond distractions. And let your mind come to rest, letting go of what's happening there. And now connecting to your soul, your higher self. And as you connect to your soul, just feel an openness, presence with your soul, presence of connection to your truest essence. As you feel this connection, allow it to expand, expanding beyond your ego, expanding beyond who you often think you are. And as you expand in this way, you become aware of the archetypal realm. This is the realm of thought forms, of consciousness. The archetypes are like lenses that focus different facets. So maybe you see glowing bubbles, or like a faceted jewel, or crystalline structure with different expressions, facets. And now you're going to call the archetype card that you drew, and this may be the same one as before, or it might be the card that we chose for the session, which is the Fool. So out of one of these crystalline facets, let the imagery of your archetype become clear. Allow yourself to see those colors again, maybe some of the smaller symbols, maybe that card, that image as a whole. So what might start out looking like the card that you drew before starts to come alive in a way that this archetype moves, maybe still wearing the same clothes, maybe still surrounded by the symbols, but it moves and comes alive and acknowledges you through a nod or a bow. And above all, just notice the beauty of this archetype, of this being, and just notice the glow in the eyes of this archetype. They're alive, they're present with you, they acknowledge you. This archetype now invites you to go on a journey with it. So you just start to follow this archetype, and what might start out looking like empty space or a celestial realm starts to develop into a path, and you follow this archetype walking along a path. At first you just notice the path itself, but then you start to become aware of the fact that you're in a forest, And if at first the trees, the plants are sparse, the cover of vegetation becomes denser, the forest becomes thicker, and the path starts to wind, starts to take you in unexpected directions as it also grows darker outside. So you notice that the archetype is surrounded by a halo, a glow, so you can follow it. And now you reach the mouth of a cave and feel the cool air of that cave, like a breath coming out from deep within the earth. And take one step in, going deeper with each number. 2 steps in, you feel the ground slopes downwards. 3 steps, 4, going deeper, becomes even darker, but that archetype has a glow which you follow. 5 steps, 6, 7, and you notice that you stand in front of a door. You know this is a door because you can see chinks of light from beneath, from the side, streaming in. But for now, you're standing in this cave, in the unknown, in the darkness. It's not at all a scary darkness. It's just the unknown, a place where you have no expectations, a place where you have no resistances. Standing in front of that door, and your archetype explains to you now that in a moment when you open that door, you're going to step into the world of that archetype, what that archetype represents. And you don't need to know anything about that archetype. You don't need to know anything about the meaning. But this archetype represents a whole realm, a whole way of doing things, a whole consciousness. So in a moment, when the archetype opens that door, you're going to step into that consciousness. So the archetype opens the door now, and first you're blinded by the intensity of the light, and then you step inside, and your eyes begin to adapt. And let's just take a few deep breaths just to accustom ourselves to this space. And as your eyes accustom themselves to the space, you see, you feel this reality. And this reality has a particular nuance to it, just as this archetype card that you've chosen has a nuance to it. And that might be described in the picture that you looked at before, the card you looked at before, or it might just be something else, but just feel the nuance first, the feeling, and then as you allow that to be, maybe some of those symbols that you saw in the card earlier start to come alive in some way. Maybe they intensify or expand, or maybe they show themselves in a new form, but they too have a feeling. And if at first it's not clear, allow emotions to start to emerge around this archetype, this feeling. Perhaps you resist this, or perhaps you embrace this. There's no right or wrong way of feeling in this case, but just get a sense of an interaction with the archetype and the realm and the symbols that start to appear, and maybe other symbols start to appear. For example, you may be in a garden and different animals start to appear, or you may be in a library and different figures or people or books show themselves. Allow this realm to morph and change if need be. Ask this archetype now what it represents for you personally, what it has to teach you, what it has to show you, and let the different symbols, the different expressions of the archetype show themselves. And as they start to show themselves, notice the feelings, notice the personal messages that come up for you. Whether you know this archetype's meaning or not, what message does it seem to hold? What does it want to tell you? What do you need to know in your life now relating to this archetype? And that comes either to you as different symbols or visuals, or it comes as emotions, comes as a knowing sense maybe, or maybe you even just see words written somewhere. What do you need to know? What does this archetype want to teach you or show you or share with you? What wisdom and knowledge does it want to impart? And wherever you may be now, the figure of your archetype as it was before in the card becomes clear again. Just see that in your mind's eye. And now this archetype leads you to a very comfortable place. It might be a chair with plush cushions, or it might be a mossy glade, thick green velvet moss. But whatever it is, just visualize yourself sitting there, sitting into that chair or that moss seat. And from this place now, we're just going to do a little bit of breath work. So, just breathing now. On the one hand, you visualize yourself breathing there. On the other hand, you're just breathing in your body now as is. Just keep this rhythm going, keep this breathing going. You don't need to think about anything now, just know that you're there breathing in the presence of this archetype, in this place of comfort and peace. Just breathing to go deeper, to have a visceral experience of this archetype, beyond visualization, beyond thoughts, beyond a mental construct. Just keep that breathing going. The breathing opens you to another dimension of this archetype. And every in-breath, you're just breathing in the air, the consciousness of this archetype. Every out-breath, you're just letting go a little bit more of your ego, letting go a little bit more of expectations or preconceptions. And remember, as you breathe this archetype, you're just attuning to its energy. Even if it's an archetype that scares you, remember that fear is not that the archetype is bad or evil. It's just your reaction to it. Every archetype has a positive side, has a lesson. So even if this breathing brings up some discomfort, just keep going. So we just want to keep breathing to go deeper, to have more of a visceral experience. That visceral experience means it's in the body. That means it's beyond the head. It's beyond reason. It's a feeling. It's a knowing. And as you breathe in this way, you just release, connecting. Opening. You just sinking deeper. Maybe you sense that archetype figure near you or next to you, or maybe it's morphed into something else. But you just go beyond your own resistance, stepping into the feeling. Good. Going beyond, going deeper, getting an experiential connection to this archetype. Good. And now you can just take your breathing a little bit deeper. Deeper breathing creates deeper connection, insight. It just feels more open, more true. So now you can just relax your breathing. You can just become quiet, completely present with that archetype and what that archetype wants to teach you. Perhaps now what that archetype brings is another level of insight, another level of understanding, another level of connection. So it makes it possible for you to experience the world, the realm, the consciousness that that archetype represents. Just ask if this particular archetype has any specific lesson for you, or if it's just wants to reveal a little bit more of its meaning. Just let that be. Let the information come as images, sounds, textures, words. And now, thank this archetype. Let this archetype say one more thing to you, whatever it needs to say. And knowing that in a moment you'll return to your own realm and that you can visit this realm whenever you want for information, for direct connection. And just thank your soul, your higher self, your body. In a moment, I'm going to count from 5 to 1, and on 1, you'll just open your eyes. You'll just be back in the room, present, with a feeling or with an understanding of this archetype in some new way, some deeper sense of what it's about. 5, 4, 3, 2, coming back, and 1. Be here, be present. Open your eyes, feeling light, feeling whole.